present at the board meeting, and I know at least 2 of these 4 students extremely well, thanks to the Superintendent's Advisory Council and other opportunities I've had, and I can tell you that you're going to have a great opportunity tonight to see some of the amazing product of the Olathe Public Schools. So we're so pleased that they're here with you all tonight.
Thanks, Dr. Yeager. Good evening, everybody. My name is Alicia Jackson, and I am our school counseling coordinator. But more importantly for tonight, I am a member of our Student Engagement Committee, which is part of our Diversity Engagement Advisory Council for the school district. Before I pass it off to the bigs, right? We started with the littles and we're ended with the bigs tonight. You will see on the next slide here when Chastity comes up, our subcommittee is made up of staff, of community members, and most importantly, students. So we're super excited to give them the floor tonight to share with you a little bit about their experiences on the committee, things that are happening in their school buildings. These are the best kids, so you're just gonna love them. And I think a few of their parents are here tonight, so thank you for raising amazing young adults. And if there's parents watching, same, thank you. They're gonna do great things in our community or wherever they land in the future. While they are gonna share some of their experiences within our committee and the high school, I also think it's really important to highlight that there's great things also happening in our middle and elementary schools, and we really hope and look forward to you guys hearing more about that in the future. Thanks.
All right, so student engagement is a subgroup of DEAC, and they meet once a month, and there's 2 other subcommittees on DEAC, and basically during our meetings, we just go into a breakout room with each committee, and student engagement really just, we are encouraged to have discussions about diversity in our schools and then what we can do better to improve it. And I personally think it's a really cool opportunity to talk about these kinds of topics with other students from different schools and the adults. And I think it's really cool to see past teachers and principals I've had in DEAC to show that it really shows that they care about diversity and stuff like that and improving it. And yeah, I really like DEAC. It's really important to have, to talk about this. And yeah, it's really encouraging and welcoming, and everyone on it is just the sweetest. So it's really cool. And then I'm gonna pass the mic to Gianna next.
Hi everyone, I'm Gianna. I'm a senior at Olathe South, and I get the privilege of talking to you about something really cool we got to do last year. So we worked on some age-appropriate questions, our subcommittee, to take to both Central Elementary and Santa Fe Trail. And we got to basically talk to students about their experiences and ideas at their schools, and more importantly, how we could make it more inclusive for all students. We know that when you feel safe and heard, it brings a better environment for students, and it helps with mental health, but also it helps motivate us to learn. So we thought it was really important. We had a number of different opinions and ideas, but it was really cool to see the different point of views. I had the privilege to go to Central Elementary and talk to, I believe, 1st through 5th grade, and oh my gosh, their ideas, everything they had to say, it was just perfect. They had a lot of their own ideas that was definitely cool to hear, and a couple that I just remembered was, one, they had this idea about at recess, because sometimes people can get left out, having an idea of hey, make sure you play with this friend today. Not necessarily a group, but just check on this friend and maybe let's go to the swing, stuff like that. They also thought it would be so cool to do diversity days and just learn about people's cultures, religions, and all different types of things. And they were so open to it. And I think this was the best part is food. They were really excited about food. We were talking to them during lunch, but they were really excited, and they thought it'd be really cool to try different types of foods from different ethnicities and cultures. So that was really cool. At Santa Fe Trail, I wasn't there, but they spoke during AIM, which is basically advisory, and they talked about how to learn about different cultures at school and even include the families in on the learning, so they could bring that home and talk to them about that stuff. And they also just really appreciated teachers who provided those safe spaces for them, and they acknowledged that is there. So that was really cool. Tariq.
How's everybody doing?
Good.
I'm gonna talk about Cam Austin. So at the beginning of the year, he came up to all the high schools, talked about his experiences in life and everything he's overcame. And I believe this is really good for our school because this was during AI time, and me and Dr. Yeager and Mr. Roberts have talked about this in our group. During AI time, a lot of kids aren't doing things just on their phone and doing.
Tyreek, who's next? Just kidding, with love, my friend.
But anyways, we play on our phones a little bit, play games. But this opportunity was great because we got to learn a little bit and got to realize that everybody comes from different backgrounds, and we can make it through all of our adversity and anything that goes on. And there's always hope. That's what he gave us and preached to us. And so I think if we had more speakers, it'd be a great thing for all the schools, even elementary and middle school as well.
Hi everyone, my name is Arushi Poor and I'm a junior at Olathe North High School, and I'll be talking to you all about superintendent meetings. So I got the privilege to be able to attend both of the superintendent meetings, and they were really, really productive, and I learned so much. One of the main things that I, as well as all of my peers and the other students, felt was that we felt that we were able to be heard, because oftentimes us students feel like we're not taken as seriously as we should be. So these superintendent meetings were amazing because whenever any of us would voice our concerns, the superintendent, as well as all of the administration and other teachers, were actively listening to us and working with us to take action against whatever issue we were facing. Along with that, it also allowed us to get a chance to be educated. Whenever all the different students from all of the different schools were talking about the concerns that they were facing, everyone else was able to learn more about different perspectives, which was really great and beneficial and productive. Overall, this just allowed for the trust in administration to grow because we were able to have a direct connection with the administration and be able to directly talk to them, which was something that I, as well as all of the other students, really appreciated. So yeah, this was something that was really great and productive, and we hope to see more superintendent meetings like these in the future. And I'll pass it off to Gianna next.
Okay, next, we thought it'd be really important to talk about a lot of the progress that our schools have made this year, because I mean, there's been a lot. I do not go to Olathe East, as I stated before, but Gianna could not be here with us tonight, so I'm going to do my best to talk about all the growth that they've had this year. So basically, the Diversity East has been very well represented this year by the clubs that advocate for those communities. An example, Black Student Union, Gender and Sexuality Alliance, Hispanic Leadership, Young Allies, and Be the Voice Mental Health. There were specific moments this year that have just really been beneficial, and the students have gotten to really engage and be out in the community and help to do things like the Westboro counter protest, the BSU plus Young Allies movie night, and the Be the Voice mural. And there's also just been so many things that have been amazing for them. Their future goals include becoming more open to uncomfortable conversations, brave spaces over safe spaces, peer mentoring, and also a diversity assembly that would be similar to Olathe North, because we've all talked about that a lot. It's just amazing what they do at Olathe North, which I'm sure you'll hear about. And yeah, that's one of their goals. So, yes.
So for an update on what we're doing at Olathe North, firstly with the Diversity Assembly, this year was our first time since 2019, I believe, having our in-person Diversity Assembly, and it was just really, really amazing. And I go to North, I see all the students every day, but for me, it served as a reminder of how diverse my school is, not only in an ethnic manner, but also with all the different clubs that we have and what they stand for and what they represent. And at North, we definitely acknowledge that diversity-wise, we're kind of leading the pack. So this year, we've been working on inviting more individuals and students from other schools to be able to see what we do and also implement that in their own schools. So at the Diversity Assembly, we did have some individuals, I believe from Santa Fe Trail, I believe. So they were able to watch our assembly and just really see what we do. So that was really beneficial. Along with that, our Student Diversity Council had conversations at Prairie Trail Middle School. So me, along with some other students, kind of stood in a panel setting, and we were able to talk with the teachers and faculty members there about different things, such as how to lead difficult conversations, how to include more diverse aspects in their curriculum, and just overall how to make their classrooms a safe environment for any student who needs to approach them at any time. Lastly, at North, we've been working on leading civil discourses with Diversity Club members and Diversity Club leaders. We had one civil discourse with Diversity Club members, and we talked about what diversity means to us. And it was really great to see how, even though all the different diversity clubs stand for one different thing, we're all unified by many things. And our goal is for the next upcoming years to have civil discourses that are open to the entire school. So right now we're starting small. We led a civil discourse with just the leaders of diversity clubs like BSU, Feminist Club, GSA, and more. And we talked about microaggressions. That conversation was very productive. So we're thinking of expanding it more now, branching out to more diversity club members and hopefully the school. So just kind of starting small and building up just really gets us the idea of what we need to do to make sure our guidelines are correct and what behavior is acceptable and unacceptable. And next, I'll pass it off to Chastity from Olathe Northwest.
Alright, so like our biggest thing is our Diversity Leadership Club, and while it's not like a new club that formed this year, we've done a lot of new things, and so I'm just gonna talk about why I joined and why I think it's important. So when I was a freshman coming to Northwest, I was like not from the feeder school, so I I felt really alone. Not just because I didn't really have a lot of people I knew, but because like I didn't see anyone that looked like me in any of my classes. And so when I joined DLC, it felt really nice to see people that did and people that shared my experiences just all coming together to have a safe space to talk about this kind of stuff, And it's really nice because people will like talk about like racial issues in the school, what we can do better and things like that. And sometimes like our principal, Zuck, will come in and like sometimes other teachers will to like learn about what the school can do better in like supporting its students and not just about like race, about like mental health and things like that. We try to get students involved a lot more this year. We have Raven Real Talks, which are discussions that we hold during seminar. And students can sign up and we choose a topic that's like relevant today. And we just talk for about like around an hour and like people get to speak their mind and like, stuff like that. We just had one today about mental health and the stigma, and we had a guest speaker, and it was really nice. And some members of DLC were involved in Race Project KC, which isn't just a Northwest thing. It's like where people from all over KC and Missouri get to talk about things like, we talked about redlining, we had guest speakers to talk about things like that. We go in breakout rooms where we get to like further discuss things like that. And yeah, we just have like really deep discussions about race, diversity, and segregation, and it's really nice. And then, a couple of us went to North to watch the Diversity Assembly, and it was so cool. Like, it was so awesome because just to see like students so proud of their cultures and stuff like that, and all the different clubs that they have, it was so like inspiring, I guess. When we got back to Northwest, we came to like Miss Smith, like the sponsor for DLC, and we were like, girl, we need to do better. I was like, we have to step it up. It was very cool. So like kudos to North for that. That's awesome. And so as of now, Northwest is the only Olathe school without a Black Student Union, and me and a couple other Black students in DLC are very much trying to start that up for next year, and we're trying to find a sponsor right now, so we'll keep you guys updated. Alright.
Back. as we all know, Olathe West is the newest school out of all of them. We've been open for 5 years, I think. And, you know, we don't really have like a culture really yet, but I feel like with all the clubs we have and how much support they get from all the principals and everybody, I feel like our culture is in good hands because we're allowed to thrive and be who we want to be. I think our principals are the best, not biased or anything, but I think they're the best. Mr. Novacek is one of the nicest guys I've ever met, and he's always open and willing to talk to people. Same with our counselors, they're always willing and open to talk to, oh my God, willing to talk to people about things they're going through and struggles at home and whatnot. But, yeah, I think that's what I gotta say.
Okay, so I actually go to Olathe South, as I've said 1,000 times, and our Black Student Union has grown so much this year, and I'm gonna be completely honest, I didn't even know we had one. So it's like actually really great to see how many people have joined. There's been several instances this year that I've definitely pushed students to want to get more involved. And so I think that's where this came from. But not only just Black Student Union, but all of our clubs at our school, I feel like have gotten fuller, and a lot of people have wanted to get involved to be able to make change and also just connect with other people. This year, new to South is our Falcon Diversity Advisory Council. This year, a lot of it has been, I might use the wrong word, fermenting, because, okay, what I mean here is that we're setting a foundation for this club to continue to build on. So it's been a lot of technical stuff and, you know, finding presidents and stuff like that, but we have beautiful goals and ideas about, like Chastity said and Arishi talked about, is North Diversity Assembly. Everybody loves it. It's amazing. Like, if you guys haven't seen it, I highly encourage to find a way to see it. It's beautiful and it brings the students together, and we at South would love to be able to one day have something like that. So that's one thing we're working towards. It's also just a club where people can all come together from different areas of school, friend groups, like robotics club to football players. It doesn't matter. Just everybody can come together and be with each other, and it's just really nice to see a whole bunch of different people. One more thing that I thought was really cool this year is we got these representative flags hung up around the commons at South, and there's just a whole bunch of different flags representing people's different ethnicities. And even though it's just a small touch, it's something that can help include everyone together, because it's like, hey, I see myself up there, like I can see that, and maybe you can tell your friend, like, that's my flag, like recognize my flag, like stuff like that. It's definitely cool. So a lot of students have thought that was cool, but I will say on top of that, they want more. Olathe South wants more. We want to push for more and do more, and we're ready for more. So yeah, that's what I would say.
So this year as a district, we've all progressed so much, which has been so amazing, and it's been noticed by me, my peers, my students, and I'm sure every school and every faculty member. So some of the things that we can do this year to specifically benefit the next school year more is, firstly, we can provide staff with more tools on handling diversity issues, such as, like, for example, some faculty members I know do feel a little bit apprehensive about leading difficult conversations or tackling different issues that they don't really have that much background on. I know we had a professional development day about microaggressions, so just providing staff with more tools and resources like that in order for them to feel more comfortable dealing with difficult situations would prove to be a lot more beneficial for the next school year. And next, we've seen that, like I have seen and my fellow peers and students have seen, that there has been so much positive change that has been made this entire school year, and this is something that makes us really hopeful and inspired. So we're just really looking forward to seeing even more growth in these next few years, and we just really hope that all of these action plans and these promises are stuck to, and that we truly see the benefits of what we have been discussing throughout this entire year. And lastly, we could do more work to bridge the gap between faculty and students. The superintendent meetings were a great step towards that, but I think we can do more, such as just being transparent in general. Whenever the district has to deal with anything, just, you know, sending out a message to students and saying that this situation has happened, here's what we're going to do, would be really beneficial, because if the district isn't actively vocal and transparent with students, then the students are under the impression that nothing is being done. So just creating more active transparency and active communication between administration members and faculty members will prove to be really beneficial in these next few school years. And I'll pass it off to Gianna again.
Okay, so next up we have some goals and hopes. We really want to work on conversing and, more importantly, being open-minded, and this is with staff and students. We need to be ready to learn from each other and to educate, and I think that it needs to be pushed that there's nothing wrong with being wrong. There's nothing wrong with being confused or not knowing what you're talking about, as long as you're willing to learn about it. And I think specifically with our generation, like, it gets difficult. People don't want to hear what they don't want to hear, but we need to work on it as a district. And that goes hand in hand with learning to empathize. There's a lot of situations that happen throughout the year. Maybe like our teacher says something, we're like, what did they just say? Like, you know, we need to empathize and realize that not everybody knows what they're talking about all the time. And instead of jumping on them, educating them and saying, hey, maybe don't say that, maybe say this, stuff like that. We can, but it doesn't always have to be cancel culture, because I know my generation likes cancel culture. So that's something we definitely need to work on. We definitely need to, like Arishi was saying, increase on communication with staff, PD meetings to students, just because we don't know what's going on all the time. And honestly, when we hear about what you guys are doing and what you guys are talking about with our teachers, not only is it like, okay, cool, we got some movement, but also we can hold our teachers and staff accountable, like, hey, we know you're learning about this, so bring it to the schools, let us see it. So I think that a lot of students would be more comfortable just, I mean, it doesn't have to be anything big, but hey, this is what we learned about recently, and you know, I think it'd be beneficial. Also, this is just really small, but saying hello. And this is also with more like students, I feel like we need to push for students to say hello. There is somebody on our subcommittee, his name is Johnny, and he talked about how when he was a freshman, he was in football, and this senior quarterback simply just came and said hi to him. He's never forgot it. And I mean, he hasn't been in high school for a while, and he has not forgot it. and it's things like that, like it's amazing too. If we just reach out and just be more friendly, just be more kind, it'll be a more open environment that everybody would love to be in. So we need to push to say hello. Hello. And lastly, finding a student safe place, I think it's really important, and I feel like honestly our district does a really good job of encouraging that we have this, but I think among the students it needs to be better. Finding a safe place with a teacher, just anybody, it doesn't have to be one, but anybody that you can go to when you're having those bad days, you're having those rough days, and you maybe can't call your parent or go home. Like, you can go sit with them and talk with them, and maybe let the school be more open to letting, hey, I need to leave class for a second, I'm gonna go talk to this teacher and I'll come back. You know, just letting that be open, having that relationship with somebody, I think it'd be really beneficial for the students, so.
Lastly is portrait of a graduate. Personally, I have never seen this before. Before doing this presentation, I've never seen this before. But I feel like it would be really imperative for students to know, especially for me, because like last week it feels like I was a sophomore. Just COVID took everything away and whatnot. But I feel like if students are aware of what they're learning and like how they're able to use it in the future, I think that's really beneficial, so we know what we're doing in the next 5 years, and we're not just stuck in a hole and don't know what to do. But I definitely think this should be pushed more, and students should definitely be able to see this and have hope that they can be successful after high school.
I may say real quick before we go to questions, I just checked with Dr. G about this afternoon, but at the very first conversation with the superintendent, one of the things that was very clear from our students was that we have dress code things we need to talk about as a system. Am I right?
Yep.
Yeah. And so we've had a committee this year since that meeting to look at our dress code, essentially policies in our handbooks at each of our high schools that had about 15 students on it that helped inform that. And so that committee incidentally had their very last meeting today. So thanks to the work of Dr. G and Gene Quintero and others in the district, we've had the input from amazing kids to help us get that where it needs to be. So it's consistent and honors our kids for who they are and what they want to be and that kind of thing. So just a little tagline on the presentation tonight.
No question, just a big thank you. I know that you students have a lot you could be doing tonight here in the month of May as you're wrapping up your school year. So thank you so much. And I loved the slide that said to be heard, to be educated, and then that leads to trusting relationships. That's huge. So thank you for educating us tonight. Appreciate that. And it is not lost on me that when we get to make decisions that affect diversity engagement in our school district, that the students are watching. And you have my full support. So thank you very much.
Is it Tariq? Huh? I had a question for you. What would you like the culture at Olathe West to be?
Inclusive. I like for everybody to be able to be cool with everybody. And if you're having a bad day, one of your friends can help you out, or someone who doesn't even know you can help you out. I just want everybody to be able to talk to somebody and have someone by their side to lean on when they need it.
Thank you. Any other questions?